everyone. Welcome to the Angel Rewatch, a spoiler-free retrospective podcast on Angel. I'm William.
And I'm Derek, and this is a podcast for Ground State, originally airing October 13th, 2002, written by Mira Smith. The episode opens on a very creepy and very 80s flashback where a young girl named Gwen is being taken to a boarding school. It is not a school for gifted youngers, but it should be because Gwen has superpowers that can kill people with electricity if they touch her. Instead, it's a normal school where Gwen is segregated from the main population of kids, but one boy takes pity on her. He talks to Gwen, gives her a toy car, and she shocks him, presumably killing him. In present day, Angel Investigations is still looking for Cordelia. Angel goes to Wesley, who is earning his distinction in the credits by heading his own demon-hunting gang. Angel tries to apologize for trying to murder Wesley, but Wesley doesn't want to hear it. He hands Angel his folder on Cordelia and tells Angel a demon goddess thing that is in charge of all lost things, and he should go talk to her. Whatever she does, she's creepy. Anyway, she gives Angel this mystical pillar MacGuffin thing that can locate lost people. Funny story, though, Gwen, who's now grown up sexy and clad in leather, has been hired to find this same pillar. An increasing frazzled Fred plans their own theft of this pillar while Gwen plots a heist of her own. The two factions meet up eventually. Well, it's a rather uneven matchup because Gwen has already stolen the pillar, leaving Angel and Gunn out in the cold. Angel tries to plead with Gwen, but it doesn't work. Fred sets off an alarm, and there's a struggle. Gwen shocks Gunn, and he falls to the floor dead. Gwen, flashbacking to the last time she killed someone, pushes everyone aside. She shocks Gunn's heart back into rhythm and working condition and escapes. Angel then goes to Lila, who's spying on Connor. Angel tells Lila to find out who wants the pillar, and he'll ignore that Lila is spying on his son and sleeping with Wesley. Despite Lila's no-fear policy, I guess this works. In any case, Angel finds Gwen just as she's about to hand off the pillar to her employer. There's a fist fight and a makeout session. Don't worry, we're going to dissect the crap out of that later. Anyway, it's a double cross. Gwen's employer is trying to kill her and Angel. He locks them up in the elevator, which has bars fitted on to it. Though honestly, I think Gwen could slip out if she wanted to, but instead listens to her employer as he goes all monologue. The elevator doors close, the room fills up with gas, and this gas, of course, doesn't affect Angel, so they manage to escape. There's a fight, no making out this time. Angel stops Gwen from killing her employer and takes the pillar thingy back home with him. Angel does a Munjo-Jumbo spell, back to Hyperion, and discovers that Cordelia is a higher being. He's sad that Cordelia is gone, but is happy that she is safe and helping people. And then we go to Cordelia as a higher being who curses at Angel, telling him to get her out of here. And that's the end of the episode.
So this is definitely the most superhero the show has ever felt.
Well, Gwen is an X-Men. And there's not much more to say about that, but she's an X-Men.
Which is probably a reason why I liked this episode a lot.
Probably. I mean, I like Gwen. I'm just saying she's an X-Men.
Yeah.
Everything about, well, this would it predate X-Men, the first movie? I think so.
Oh, God. The internet is a resource.
It is a resource, but this podcast is ground to a halt because I brought up.
X-Men came out in 2000, so no.
No, okay, so it doesn't. Yeah, I was going to say it's the most X-Men live action thing, but no, the actual X-Men movie. Which maybe makes me think a little bit less of Gwen, because she is really kind of tapping into Rogue in that movie. I guess that one is a trilogy. Even though there are more X-Men movies, the continuity makes no sense. But that's a different podcast.
Yeah. I got a very... I mean, she's like that. She's an anti-hero, which I enjoyed. I liked her superpowers. I thought they did interesting things by showing her powers.
Well, I like going back to the fact that she's X-Men, that she has powers that are kind of awesome, but they also sort of suck. Or at least they affect her life in negative ways. So it's not just, I have awesome electricity powers, there's this downside where I can't touch people.
It really makes her really interesting. Like, we got so much background information with her with very little. I actually really dug the flashback. Yes, it looked very 80s TV showish.
I didn't dislike it. I just I had thought somehow accidentally I had clicked on something different on Netflix because it didn't look anything like Angel.
Right. It reminded me of the X-Files, honestly.
It's probably intentional.
I like that, and later when we get to see the grown-up Gwen, you get a lot more understanding of what it must be like if you can never touch someone.
Mm-hmm.
And I also like her freak monologue at the end of the episode. Again, like getting her psyche, and of course, I mean, I thought the way they wrote her dialogue, I actually like how kind of snarky and quippy she was. Again, she feels like a superhero, anti-hero. Mm-hmm. She's very Catwoman-ish. If we wanted to,
if you just want to like throw everything in, yes. I mean, I don't dislike this episode, but the most interesting thing about it is Gwen, because I don't really have much to say about anything else that happens, because it's not a whole lot of new information. Maybe
not, but I felt like they had the episode go at a pretty fast clip. I like the pace of the episode. I really dug everyone's interactions in the episode. Like they definitely let everybody play off of each other, and I felt like everybody had really solid scenes together. I liked Gwen talking with, or when Gwen first meets her employer. I mean, I like that scene. I like how she interacted with the gang, minus some things we'll probably get to. And I liked how they utilized Fred in the episode. Like they were very good about giving everyone a moment.
I will say sure. I will agree. All right, I have a slight issue with. I have a pretty big issue with the Fred stuff, and it's not specifically Fred, and it is Gunn's reaction to Fred, because Amy Acker plays Fred from the very beginning that there's something wrong, and then we realize what's wrong when she has the freak out after Gunn quote unquote dies and all that. But Gunn and Angel seem to have no idea that there's something going on with Fred, and I don't understand. I can understand from Angel's point of view because it's Angel, but I can't understand why Gunn seems to have no idea. And then when she starts freaking out, he blames it on her being a woman, which not okay with.
I mean, yeah, sure. So I'm not going to defend Gunn in that moment.
Well, I mean, it's not even that you have to. I just don't. The problem I have with it is not that, like he says that's really not my issue. I just don't see how that's in any part of Gunn's character that he's this oblivious to what's going on with Fred. And maybe it is, and I just don't remember it.
I didn't. I probably had the same issue with him not picking it up sooner. Although she is being, I feel like she's still being pretty Fred-like. I mean, you can tell she's like stressed and everything. Mm-hmm. But I don't. It's not until she blows up that I'm like, whoa, okay. Like she's probably on edge and stressed about having to do everything. But it's not until that moment that you're like, oh crap, things are going down. But like Gunn's reaction before that, where he's very carefree about, hey, you died. Mm-hmm. That still felt in character to me.
That does. When he's like dismissive of Fred is starting to freak out is my problem, and that he doesn't notice, because I don't. The moment that really bothered me is when like Fred, really passive aggressively, honestly, says that she's going to go plan everything, and she talks about how she's going to go plan, and Angel and Gunn look after her like, oh, isn't that sweet? Look at Fred going to do stuff.
Yeah, for some reason I was expecting one of them to actually pick up on that.
Yeah, but no, yeah. Angel
but to be fair,
and then Gunn's like, yeah, she's so in charge, isn't it cute? Oh, shucks.
I like the response from Angel, because he she reminds me of Cordelia, the way she's being so strong and everything, but it's also, what is the group like without Cordelia there? How do things break down? And Wesley, sure.
Because she's doing both.
Right. So, in that way, I like the implications of when you're missing the pieces, what ends up happening.
No, I like that Fred is being overwhelmed. I'm just confused about why Gunn doesn't notice it, or Angel.
Well,
because I think at this point Angel is enough self-aware, even though he's looking for Cordelia.
That's true. I mean, maybe again,
it wouldn't be self-aware.
On
perceptive.
Yes, but really, the most perceptive person in Angel investigations was Cordelia.
Mm-hmm.
So again, I mean, I don't know. I like it for the story that they told, so I didn't have too big of an issue with it.
No, it's not like it enrages me. I felt it was odd, and I don't know if it's trying to set up, because I guess Gunn and Fred are out of the honeymoon, everything you do is perfect phase, and I'm not sure what that means. And I don't know if this is the start of something negative there.
Sure. But I do like, again, getting a broader range of Fred. Like, her actually getting to act.
Yes.
And she actually got to do a lot of stuff in the episode. You know?
Mm-hmm. No, I like the Fred story. I just don't like the reaction.
How we got there?
No, I like how we got there. I just don't like the reaction surrounding Fred. I like that she has decided to take it all on, and that you can see that it is beginning to make her... is beginning to affect her emotionally in a bad way. Because I think we can probably read when she teased Connor in the heart like 5 times last week. That was probably some pent-up stress about what we see here. And why she's still bitter about it.
Right.
Because things are falling apart, and she had no control over that. And I think she thinks things are falling apart just because she's trying to be in charge and doing like 3 people's jobs.
Which retrospectively helps because we commented a lot on that last week.
Yeah.
How I was like, whoa, that seems out of the blue. What are you doing, Fred?
Mm-hmm.
So this actually makes a lot more sense. And I really love the scene where she freaks out. Mm-hmm. I mean, Amy Acker is just a wonderful actress, but I felt like it was generally one of the most emotional scenes in the episode.
And it touches back. It's a nice kind of... It does kind of touch back on Fred List when she freaked out about things becoming real. And I don't know. There's definitely a growth and a difference in Fred from Fred List to this point, but she's still freaking out about being left alone.
Right. Yeah, it definitely gave me that kind of callback to the kind of like isolation and of her being back in that cave. Which seems to be her
fear.
Right.
That she's going to be alone. Which is probably why she believes so much in people like Wesley and Connor and all. Well, those are the 2 big betrayals. But those, again, are 2 pretty big betrayals, and she seems to know about like 5 people.
Yeah, when things are starting to be like 50%, you know, that's not very good.
Like half of your friends have betrayed you. It's time to, you know, be worried that your boyfriend's going to die, because he does. Which is a weird moment. I'm sorry, when Angel leans down and says he's dead.
It's strange. I like the imagery of it. Like the sight of him just falling over dead, I thought was genuinely pretty creepy and disturbing. But the Angel, he's dead.
Yeah.
Felt very TV cliche, manufactured.
Because then we cut to commercial.
Right. Well, it was just unnecessary.
It was. But can we talk about, getting back to Gwen, what exactly... Does she have control over her powers more than she did in that flashback? Because I get the sense that the reason that Gunn's heart stopped is that Gunn kind of rushes her, and in instinct she lashes out, and it's more extreme. Because when she goes to save Gunn, she knocks Angel out of the way using her powers, and at that point she doesn't know that Angel is dead. Or his heart doesn't beat.
Right.
So So is it implied that she has some control over them at this point?
I mean, obviously she has some control over them because she does the weird thing with the lasers and kind of talks scientific.
And she does shock Angel later before she shocks his heart back. There's a mini shock when she punches him up against the wall.
Yeah, and when they're fighting, she's like, "You want it all," or whatever. I don't remember the exact.
When she takes off her gloves,
she takes the gloves off and like supercharges, and that's what jumpstarts his heart or whatever. But I like when she's restarting Gunn's heart the way they had her play that, the way she kind of like fiddles with her hand and kind of twists. Like literally, it looks like they use the phrase just like starting a Chevy or whatever, but it has that kind of look to it. I don't know. I thought it worked pretty well. So I think, yeah, again, she's very dangerous. So you can see that if you like jumped at her and like touched her, then,
which is what Gunn does. Or I guess there's always I guess she always has some form of static shock if you touched her. I don't think she can turn it off. Which is why she wears the gloves. But she can dial up the intensity. Right.
I don't know. It's a cool power set. I mean, I like the powers that are also a burden in a real sense. Yes. And how that would change a person if they literally weren't able to physically touch anyone.
Mm-hmm. And there's obviously the male gaze aspect of what Gwen wears. But I do like that she dresses provocatively in other ways because she can't touch people. I do like that as an idea. That she shows other areas of skin, like she has the midriff showing and she's wearing... Which leather, by the way, is a stupid outfit. All red though. It's a stupid outfit. But she does have a lot of skin, which I like. That she has a lot of skin and she has the gloves on her hands. So I guess it's just her hands where the electricity comes out. Maybe. I don't know.
No, I don't think...
It seems to only come from her.
Why? I don't know if Gunn actually touches her hands, though. Like, he just kind of touches her. I'd have to replay the scene, but he, like, just touches her, and that's what gets him
maybe.
killed. I mean, I think it's probably focus. Like, she can focus it through her hands.
Probably.
But I think it's a whole body thing.
Is it a whole body thing? Okay.
Because when they have the flashback, she's literally in a full body coat with the gloves.
Well, she touches him with... She touches...
him with the hand.
Her hand
she touches the car, which is in between the two of them, and that ends up melting the car and shocking the kid dead.
He's dead, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Which is why she stops to save Gunn, because she remembers killing a small boy.
Yes. Okay, but he's dead. I think she touches both of them, and then the electricity between them fries the car, and then kills him as well. If we want to get semantic about it, which apparently we do. But I guess it is her whole body, but it seems to be most focused in her hands.
Sure. Because I don't think
Well, then even going back to that she has to dress in that ugly parka coat, and when she's given the opportunity, or at least the first time we've seen her given the opportunity to dress, she doesn't dress in a full body cast.
Yeah, I find it very interesting. I mean, it again plays more into... it's a lot of different conversations that we can be having, because we can look at it through the male gaze perspective.
I mean, that is the primary reason. The excuse that is that she can just she dresses this way because she was so sheltered.
Sheltered, restricted... Yes. Like, you must wear this kind of thing. You must be this kind of person.
But
which you also get a sense from the employer, like, well, you're not meeting up to my ideal of professionalism. I was just waiting for him to, like, well, women should dress a certain way.
Well,
you know what I mean?
I'm glad he didn't. Because that would have been too much.
Maybe a little too on the nose. Yes.
But the primary reason she dresses like that is to be sexy. But I do like... It goes into her whole character that she does what she kind of wants at this point, but there is some kind of insecurity there about her powers. that we see when she shocks Gunn and then she saves Gunn's life. Because she really has no reason to save his life besides the goodness of her heart or whatever.
Yeah, and it looks more like it's guilt than goodness. Like, she feels guilty. Like, they use the flashback to go, I don't want to kill people.
Mm-hmm. Well, there seems to be, it's probably more guilt than anything else. That I find that interesting that she is so free, but there's the implication that she doesn't like being who she is.
Mm.
Which is why she reacts so strongly to the freak at the end of the episode. Which is, again, pretty on the nose, but it was all right.
Yeah. I like that bit of monologue with her talking about being called a freak. Mm-hmm. But also the way she reacts to, I guess, romantic connections, since they're talking about Cordelia. Mm-hmm. You know, there seems to be she's a bitterness with the longing. Mm-hmm. You know,
actually, we'll say. I was going to say, can we talk about the makeout? But we'll save that for feedback, I guess, because it is brought up.
Well, good, because I mean, we should talk about that because I have issues with it.
Okay,
I think it's dumb.
Well, it is dumb. So, I mean, I guess we're agreed on that. It's dumb.
Okay, well, we'll talk more about it.
Speaking about people making out, let's just talk about Lila and Wesley and their sex position.
Okay, I'm starting to get more of a, man crush on Wesley. He's just getting more and more burly.
He looks gross to me.
Really?
Yes. He's grimy and he's gross.
He's sweaty. He's a man.
Yeah. I mean, I don't find him attractive. He needs to take a shower. Yeah, that's how I feel about Wesley. But I won't begrudge you for finding him sexy. But he's not my type. I like them dead and with their hearts not working.
Oh, okay. Sounds good.
Okay. Angel's still the hunk to me.
Angel's still the hunk. Mm-hmm. I don't know. He's.
I mean, Alexis Denisof does have and Alexis Denisof in the credits now.
Yeah. With Wes and Lila's relationship, again, their chemistry just works. Mm-hmm. It's off the charts. I just love the way they play back at each other, and what are. Again, it's such a mind game. What is the other person trying to accomplish? Mm-hmm. At the same time, it's just, very sexy.
Mm-hmm. There is a lot of exposition in the beginning of this episode. Mm-hmm. And I think the only one I really kind of enjoy is the Wesley and Lila attacking each other.
Fumble around the room.
Yeah. Well, I don't think they're fumbling. They're very focused on what they're doing. Fumbling implies that they're not so experienced. I think they've done this enough. But yeah, I don't particularly like Fred with her whiteboard, even though I appreciated it because I really had no idea what the plot of the episode was because I was too freaked out by that angel demon thing in the sewers, which was an impressive makeup job.
It was. I mean, taking a short detour towards that, I thought that was one of the more effective creature effects that they've had. And a part of it just went with the betrayal of the demon angel or whatever. What is it she called?
I don't know. Is she a goddess? I think that's what Wesley calls her.
Yeah, some underworld demon goddess thing.
Yes.
I thought the concept of her was really cool, too. Mm-hmm. She literally just traps dead things and keeps them.
Well, she traps lost things.
Lost things. But Wes had found the door, but only an undead person could enter.
Of course, because,
I mean, the setup angel.
Well, yeah.
It's convenient. But I like the way...
Because otherwise Wesley would have had this Cordelia situation solved 3 months ago, apparently.
Yeah.
Because he is just on top of things with that one guy he works with.
The way they had the creature with the way they used her wings and the way they had the the fluttering sound that went with it, and she's a very bat-like. It was really creepy.
Yeah.
The way they cut away from that kind of bothered me, but it's okay. I mean, I wish we had gone back to it, but I guess short and sweet is better than just...
Well, I think they were pretty, as much as I think they were pretty limited in what they could do with that creature thing.
Okay.
Because when her wings spread out, it looks nice, but you can tell that's a machine. It's not so fluid. It's some kind of mechanism.
Yeah, you're probably right. It reminded me of Jeepers Creepers, the monster effects from that. But
not the greatest phrase you could brief on something. Anyway, we were talking about Lila and Wesley.
I do find it really interesting that she's divulging all of the information about what's going on and that she knows.
Mm-hmm.
It's so interesting, the power struggle between the two of them.
Mm-hmm.
Because that's what it feels like.
Well, yeah, it is.
Again, they're the physical representation of them, like, balancing on who's on top.
Mm-hmm.
And
Wesley ends on top. Anyway, yes.
Yeah.
I'm uncomfortable now. But yes, Wesley does end on top, which take that for whatever it's... Well, he ends on top, but Lila is satisfied. So
I mean, this is the most adult. I feel it's now you are definitely feeling it more in the show that it has gotten a lot more adult.
Yes. I mean, it's not the first time that the act that is represented has happened on the show. I remember it happened in Waiting in the Wings.
Right.
But again, because Wesley looks so grimy and dirty.
It just feels grimy and dirty.
It feels grimy and dirty. But Lila's into it, apparently. So what do you... I guess we've covered that enough, but what do you make of Lila kind of giving in to Angel's demands? And it's not that big of a thing, so I'm probably not bothered that much by it. But the fact that she killed Linwood for being a coward and Angel threatens her and she does what he wants.
I'm okay with it this one time.
Mm-hmm. If it I feel that is my opinion on it as well, because I think we've gotten the impression of Lila now that she plays the long game, and this could come back to bite Angel at the end.
Right, but I just hope it's not that they're setting up like Wesley is her weakness.
Well, that is again my fear,
because they already played that card once. But I didn't know if it was more of a misdirect because then she chops off Linwood's head.
Mm-hmm. And is it? Well, I think you could play it as Wesley her weakness, or is someone finding out at Wolfram Heart that she's sleeping with Wesley her weak? Oh no, they know. Never mind.
Yeah, they know.
They know. So I guess it could be her weakness, or I don't know.
Yeah,
because it doesn't seem to bother her that he knows that she's spying on Connor. But when he dropped the bomb that I can smell Wesley all over you and I smell you all over Wesley, is when she looks a little disturbed.
Well, she is. She goes on guard when he's like, I'll forgive you this one time that you're 50 yards within my son. This one time, he gets very.
Mm-hmm. Well,
that's nothing new for Angel, but it still works because of how cordial their conversation was before that. And I really do like that scene a lot too. Again, more character interactions that I just love watching because we haven't gotten that in a really long time. Honestly, seeing Lila talk to anyone that wasn't Wesley.
By a long time, you mean like one episode?
Well, even I guess we got her at Wolfram and Hart, but we haven't seen her interact with Angel or anyone else in the gang in a really long time.
I guess that's true because I don't even think.
I can remember her passage on and Angel.
Yeah, the last season she
after Connor disappeared. I didn't see her.
Yeah, she really kind of just all her scenes were with Wolfram Hart people or Wesley.
Yeah.
Interesting. So yeah, I forgot it been that long, but that is true. I do like their scenes and the power struggle, but not the same kind of one that she has with Wesley, though it used to be.
Yeah.
You were reminded of your favorite episode when the old man was in Angel's body and they made out at the desk.
Yeah, well, they also referenced the Shroud of Ramon.
They did. But at least they referenced
actually, it was legitimately funny.
Well, they referenced it for being terrible.
Yeah.
So that I'm fine with it.
I love when Angel is that self-aware. I mean, maybe they weren't saying the episode was terrible,
no, they
but
weren't, but they could have been.
Right.
The heist definitely did go terribly wrong. And this one doesn't go much better.
This doesn't go much better, but I found it a lot more interesting, and I like that.
Well, it is a lot better than the Shroud of Ramon, I will give it that.
I think this is probably the best heist they've done. Like, you have to compare this to season... there's 2 where they break into Wolfram and Hart.
Oh, well,
one where he gets the Shanshu.
Wesley. Angel's count is off then.
Or is it 2? The one where he gets the Shanshu prophecy.
That is 1. Isn't it? Well, the one where he gets the Shanshu prophecy, and then... What's the other one? Besides the Shroud of Ramon. Because Angel says he's done it twice. Breaking and entering.
Okay, the the prophecy is the one where Gunn is breaks into the lobby, right?
What about the black man?
Yeah.
Sure, the dead man, but what about the black man? Yes, that's the same.
I guess he's broken into Wolfram and Hart a number of times, but it wasn't really a heist.
No.
Because he wasn't doing anything. So I guess his count is right.
Yeah.
It's only 2. Okay.
He used to break into Lindsay's office like every other week.
Flying through the window.
But that's not a break-in. That's just swinging from whatever odd ledge around Wolfram Hart that Angel's allowed to swing in on.
Right. I like that, obviously, Gwen is far superior and knows what she's doing as a cat burglar, and even comments on it later that, like, anyone this bad at stealing stuff has to be doing it for love. I didn't mind that line. I thought that worked pretty well. Mm-hmm. And just seeing how they kind of legitimately suck whenever you compare it to what she was doing.
Yeah. Well, they do kind of legitimately suck because their 2 greatest assets, as far as I'm concerned, have left, and those are Wesley and Cordelia. Because really, what are Fred and Gunn bringing to the table?
Well, Gunn's he punched that one dude pretty good.
Yeah, but okay.
Fred has the scientific gizmo that unlocks the door.
Okay, sure, fine. Fred has some capabilities. As much as I like Gunn, his use on the group is not much because his asset is that he punches things. And guess what? Angel is better at punching things. And apparently now at this point, so is Wesley.
Yeah. They also have... Now. Okay. They've been underutilizing Gunn, obviously, or haven't found the best way to use him.
They have been underused. They've been underutilizing Gunn since they introduced him.
Correct.
But anyway, what were you going to say before I cut you off?
Well, I did want to ask you what you thought about Wes having a new gang and that interaction with Angel.
I feel better about that from the logic standpoint of how he had a boat and all the extra things he had, because I guess, and maybe why Angel Investigations isn't doing a lot of business, because Wesley is
picking up the slack by himself.
I can't think there's that many demon problems in LA. At least if there were, I think Angel Investigations would be more busy.
It is interesting because, again, you put more of a light side onto Wes's dark side because he's still helping people.
For sure, but that's the only thing you can do.
Lila even comments on the fact that, well, you saved Angel, you said you didn't care, kind of thing. Mm-hmm. So he does. I mean, as much as
why?
He has this
what is your theory about why he won't join back up, or doesn't really even seem to want to have a conversation with Angel when he shows up?
I think he's still petty. I mean, he's still bitter and hurt that it sends back to who was he talking to? Where he's like, I wanted to go explain to my friends, but they left me here. Yeah, so he was talking to Gunn about that. So I still feel like that's part of him.
Mm-hmm.
You know, he's so prideful about things, and he's got such an ego. Yeah, I mean, a little bit.
No, yeah, I think that's probably it. That I don't know. They're both. It is interesting. Maybe not interesting, but it is nice that Angel gets over himself enough to go apologize to him. And as much as I think he goes there to get the information about Cordelia, I do think he went there to apologize as well. And then Wesley just doesn't want to hear it. Right.
Like I found the scene intriguing because of Wes's reaction. Like they could have kept going, like pushed it, but I guess they didn't want to open up that can of worms where he gets this kind of like bitter look. He doesn't necessarily like spit back at him. Well, oh, we're okay now. What makes you think that I'm okay with you? You know, they could have had something like that happen.
Well, that's implied by giving him what he quote unquote really came for, which is
here's what you really came for.
You don't really want to talk to me. You want this information I have on Cordelia.
I like how they're playing that relationship because of how they've tipped the scales on one end and now tipped it back the other way. I find that
the ball is in Wesley's court at this point.
Yeah.
So there's not much more I have to say about this that
we won't get back to in feedback. Let's see. Well, I have very few little things left. Like I enjoyed the fight choreography in the episode. I even didn't mind the scummy bad guy we got. Mm-hmm. I do find it weird. Okay, so Angel uses the axis of whatever.
Pythia.
Yeah.
I think.
To find Cordelia. Mm-hmm. And everyone's like, well, she's where she's supposed to be. She's happy. She's in heaven or whatever, right?
She's a higher being.
But if Cordelia was supposed to be his connection to the powers, doesn't that cut him off from his connection to the powers? Like, it's a bad plan from the powers to cut you off from that connection.
Okay, but then there's the other thing that Cordelia wants out.
Right.
Yeah.
And so what does that mean? Mm-hmm. Again, not things that we can really comment on or speculate on.
But I really do like the moment when they're all happy for Cordelia for being a higher being, and I'm not too pleased with the fact that that genuine moment is cut by Cordelia wanting to get out.
Yeah, and it's very similar to how they ended last week, so it felt a little...
Well, it's different that she was bored, which implies that she's not happy, but... Again.
Or that she's not, like, is she actually doing anything?
Yeah.
If she's bored, it doesn't seem like she's actually helping.
But she's not helping, but she obviously can hear him.
She can hear him and she can view. Mm-hmm. Like, that was something new that we got in this episode.
She's definitely looking at them, having that conversation.
Right.
But she wants out, whatever that means. And she's obviously not gone because I doubt Charisma Carpenter is going to be a glowing cloud at the end of... for 5 seconds at the end of each episode.
Right.
If she was, and if they were going to write her off, she'd be a special guest star, but she's still in the credits.
Right.
So, again, can't really talk about it right now.
All right, so moving on to feedback?
Sure. All right, so first up we have Megs, who said, finally catching up. I really, really dislike the Cordelia as a higher being storyline. That's all I really can say about it right now. I do think Dark Wesley is 100% more sexy, so I'm into that. My memories of Season 4 are really not favorable, but I was pleasantly surprised by the first 2 episodes for not being terrible. I forgot completely about Gwen, and I love her in one entire series of her and Fred as a 2-woman investigation team. Her ability to make Angel come back to life is something they really should have left out, because now all he needs is to get some sort of Tony Stark device and he can be human. It opens up a huge can of worms that they obviously don't care about. Although now that he's apparently over Buffy and Cordelia is gone, I guess there's no point in him becoming human. So thank you, Max.
That
is a point. But it's more than just like his heart beating. I feel like that is not Angel's primary problem with being a vampire.
Yeah,
it's
probably.
the curse of being immortal and watching everyone die.
And the thirst, and, having the weird demon thing in him. So
I mean, honestly, not having a heartbeat is probably beneficial to him in some way.
Yeah, otherwise he would die from Gwen, and, hey, he doesn't have to breathe during the gas thing.
But really,
he's a superhero in his own right. I like that in the episode he comments on, like, hey, I got over it.
What, being dead?
Yeah, he's like, I'm not the poster boy for normal.
Yeah,
boo-hoo, whatever.
I did like that. Yeah. But I'm just saying, not having being hard is probably the least of his problems. If he could invent a Tony Stark device that allowed him to have sex, maybe he'd be happier. But
Angel just needs to get laid.
He really does, though.
But then he becomes a murder machine.
Think about when he became human. What did he do for like 12 hours of those 24 hours when he was human?
Yeah, that's true.
All right. Just saying.
It's interesting viewing this episode in how many superhero shows we have on television.
Mm-hmm. Where are you going with this?
I'm just saying it's an interesting way of viewing the episode and how this show led into those shows. I as much as Angel doesn't get a lot of credit for being that kind of thing, or Buffy gets a lot more of the credit.
Oh, Buffy gets not a lot. Buffy gets all the credit.
Right.
Angel gets no sole credit. It is Buffy or Buffy and Angel. No one says, remember that thing that Angel did? No.
Right, and Angel is literally,
Angel's Batman.
He's Batman, or Arrow's on right now.
Who is also Batman.
Who's also Batman.
So, doesn't change what I said. Angel's Batman. Angel's not the first TV Batman.
That's true.
Adam West, but I would love to see Angel interact with Adam West, but that's another thing.
Yeah, so the her starting his heart thing,
that's not Alicia was going to bring up, but we can talk about it now. Yeah, sure.
It doesn't make any sense. Like, why? It almost bothers me as much as him turning into Angelus for doing drugs.
Oh, really? It doesn't bother me that much. I just think it's weird.
Like, what was the point? And then, like, he makes out with her and then goes, Cordelia, I got to get out of here. Like, it just was so bizarre. I didn't understand the choice of doing that in the episode. Like, we get it. Gwen's sexy. We don't have to show her making out with our lead in the show, or unless they're implying other things about Gwen's character. Like, is she supposed to be the Catwoman to Angel's Batman?
I thought we were going back to Bai Ling and her crazy sex powers. No, I think what it is supposed to be is that he gets excited. It's just he kisses her because his heart's beating.
Yeah, well, I get.
I have no more answers for you, but that I think it's weird.
Yeah.
But I think that is why he kisses her, because
it's more as a writing choice.
Well, yeah, no, I don't know. I think the logic of it is that he kisses her and he gets excited because he hasn't felt his heartbeat, and he's a red-blooded American male. He makes out with a hot babe in front of him. I don't know, but
as opposed to his usual undead American.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know why. I really don't.
Also, as a fan perspective, did anything jump at you? You're like, oh, I guess you're over Cordelia now.
No. As soon as it's over,
he's like,
Cordelia.
Oh, Cordelia, you gotta get out of here.
Yeah, oh my god.
I found it annoying.
I find it is annoying, but I think it doesn't bother me because I don't read any kind of feelings into that kiss. I read it as his just unbridled passion of his heart beating.
Yeah.
Again, all Angel needs to do is get laid. So, first thing he does when he feels his heartbeat is try to get that on.
Also on Team Wesley, 100%.
Yeah, well, that's
dirtier, 100% sexier.
Yeah. You could. I need a shower. Let me shave.
All right, so
he
next
looks
up
like
we
he
have.
smells to me.
I find that very weird. I mean, yes, he was fighting demons. And...
I will also say that when I watch the Dark Knight movies and I look at Michael Caine as Alfred, I think, God, I bet his breath just like stinks.
Because his mouth is always open?
Yeah, his mouth is always open. I'm just waiting. When he gets all up in Bruce's face, calm down, Alfred. Your disgusting English teeth. Things are rotting in there. Just back up. Just wait. Anyway, Batman.
All right, so next up we have Alicia, who says, last episode was good. I wasn't that much into this episode. The good. I like how Angel forgave Wesley. Sounds cheery. What should I do? Send her a gift, a sacrifice? Unholy fruit basket? Knock, knock. Door was open, or it was a second ago. Really? City of Atlantis, Holy Grail, Jimmy Hoffa. I'm good at this, I swear. You're not counting the time we stole the crazy-making Death Shroud that nearly killed us. I'm really strong if that helps. Operation Chance in Hell. This is so much harder than it looks on Batman, was Alicia's favorite line in the episode. I like how Gunn still wants to go to Vegas. What are you deficient? Get me out of here. Other. I'm not really liking Gunn's soul patch. Fred being bitter. So that's how Wesley was able to afford all that stuff last week, and he's got a new demon hunting group. I'm unsure about this new Wesley. Denza is ugly. Oh my god, Gunn's dead. So Gwen can kill you, but also bring you back. I'm iffy on Connor, but it was sad to see him curled up on the ground under a blanket. Fred's breakdown was also sad. She rips Angel's shirt, makes his heart beat, and then he kisses her. That doesn't make sense. I think Gwen would make a good addition to Angel Investigation. So thank you, Alicia.
Do you think... Obviously, I would like to see more Gwen. I don't think that she is Angel Investigations material.
No. Again, I like the...
She doesn't take orders particularly well.
Right. I do think she makes a strong impression. I mean, not just... I mean, the fact that she's basically a superhero.
Mm-hmm. Or
anti-hero, Catwoman-ish. I like the way she's written. I like her power set and everything. I think she's interesting. She has an interesting backstory. So it felt like they had a lot more thought put behind her.
Yep.
So, but again, yeah, it's not like... How many superpowered people can you have on the team?
Well, they only have one.
I know, but how many... Is the one as much as you can go? Or like,
well, at what point
at what point does the show start feeling unbalanced because of it?
I don't know.
Or different, you know what I mean? That's the only thing that I would think if, yeah.
And
the show would feel very different.
I'm just saying it would take repeated, I don't think she's ready made to join. It would take repeated appearances on the show before I would feel that she could earn it. They also have Connor.
Right.
Who has been excommunicated.
But what I do like with Gwen is because she's so different, the stories that they could tell feel much different.
No, I think that we should see her again, but I don't think she should... As of right now, I don't think she should ever be a permanent addition on Angel Investigations. If she can be recurring in the same way that Lauren was when he was the host.
Well, we never got more Biling.
She is much better than Biling.
We can both agree on that.
I don't think that was up for debate. Though they are wearing similar outfits. Gwen seems slightly more practical. And the fact that she doesn't have like a boob sling on, and that's a real shirt.
And she, like, dressed into, like, tactical gear for the actual
for the real thing when she was fighting. That's just her walking around clothes.
Wait, she has a butler, too. What was the butler's name?
Oh, she had a butler? I forgot. I missed that. Are you serious?
Yes, she, like, says, like, thank you, whatever. I forget. I don't remember who she says. It's like a blonde woman in a tux and hands her the lipstick.
Really? Fascinating to me. Because I did not remember this at all. I remember putting on the lipstick. I don't remember a blonde woman in the tux saying anything to her.
Yeah, it was really out of left field. Again, she's a superhero. Or super cat burglar. Whatever. Super villain?
No, she's not. I mean, if you consider... Can we talk about her name?
Gwen?
Raiden.
Wait, her name is Raiden?
Her name is Gwen Raiden. I just wanted to throw that out there.
Okay, well, I didn't know that. Did they ever say her last name?
No, but I know it.
Okay, well, so it is just destined that she got superpowers.
Again,
she literally is a superhero.
That makes her even more of a superhero because of her name that is a pun in itself. But yeah, I just wanted to throw out her name's Gwen Raiden.
I did really like the touch of when she was doing the freak dialogue, have you ever been struck by lightning? I've been struck by lightning 14 times.
Can we move on to Kathleen?
Yeah.
Okay. So next up we have Kathleen, who said, I was surprised by how much I liked this episode. Gwen is an interesting character in the way she bounces off everyone in her conversations with the gang, and the guy who hired her was incredible. I kind of loved the plot with the stealing of the Axis, a Pythia trophy thing from the auction house and seeing the gang fumble, where Gwen did easy. Laughed out loud at Gunn choking on his coffee when he learned the price of the Axis of Pythia. Fred getting jealous at Angel's artistic talent was cute. Maybe Angel should keep Gwen around. Another few shocks from her in his heart might stay beating. But Gwen killing Gunn and then bringing him back to life really shows her powers aren't made to be played with. Not sure how I feel about Fred's overreaction scene with Gunn as he recovered. So Wesley has his own gang now and his own supernatural business. How very innovative of him. Wes and Lila still hot. Connor camping out with the homeless. Way to make me feel a little sad for the kids show. So do you feel bad? This is the second time that we brought up that Connor is... People are...
Homeless?
Well, it's the second time it's brought up feedback that people are feeling bad for Connor. Do you?
No, and I'm not sure what the show's...
Well, they make a point of showing it to you.
Right, but I'm not sure what the show is... they make the point to show you, but they also have Lila going like, well, you kind of took it a little easy. And they have Fred go, hey, you kind of took it a little easy.
Mm-hmm.
Like he needs to be malleted or whatever Fred says. I don't know.
Well, apparently Fred would like to have him tied up in a torture dungeon so she could tase him a couple more times in the heart.
Yeah, apparently.
And then she would probably hire Gwen to tase him again, because now we have a human taser.
But the way that Angel seems so calm about the Connor situation made him homeless feel like a non-issue to me.
Interesting. Because I feel sad for him in the abstract sense, but then the other thing I feel is that Angel he's not as alone as Connor's not as alone as Connor probably feels like he is.
Right.
I think that Angel has tabs on him, and this is a part of a learning experience. Like if Connor ever got into any real trouble, I'm sure Angel would be there in like a matter of seconds. How? Because he's not Superman, I don't know. But I do get the sense that he has... Every free moment he gets, he knows where Connor is.
Yeah, it's not like he's forgotten about him. And the way that he shows up while Lila's there, you get a sense that maybe he is always kind of watching over him when he can. Mm-hmm. Although, again, seems like bad parenting. But... Again, he did try to murder him. Yeah.
They're so far beyond. He tried being a parent, and he got attempted murder. Or not really attempted murder, just attempted torture for eternity.
Oh, that's silly scap.
So I don't really blame him for kicking him out. I don't know what do you do with the psychotic human child of two vampires who wants to kill you?
Superboy?
Prime.
That's a good question.
Superboy Prime.
I guess they want to...
That was a nerdy reference. Anyway, continue. Yeah,
I mean, I guess they want to feel... They want to keep his presence felt in the show, which I guess I like that we still... Yeah, so I guess I like that we checked in on it.
I will say
there's a lot of stuff that happened in this episode.
The most I ever liked Connor was when he first came back and he had that episode with the Sunny girl.
But again, he didn't really say...
He didn't do much, but I liked that idea. And now we're back to that idea. I think I like potential is what I'm saying. Yeah, I liked a little bit of what we got in the premiere because it kind of not foreshadowed, but it gave us a sense of what it could be like if he was ever really part of Angel Investigations and he got over the mopey, whiny teenager phase or the rebellious teenager phase or whatever, if he could still be the kind of kid that's also superpowered, whatever, that kind of interaction could work with the rest of our gang. But again, he also is balancing the I hate you, Dad, and me. So we'll see where they're going. But I guess I'm glad that they checked up on him, but I'm also glad they kind of took a break for an episode, honestly. Because Gwen was like Gwen has one episode that is infinitely more interesting than Connor showing back up from Kortoth. Okay, well, we're grading on a curve.
I mean, they're both superheroes.
No, but we are grading on a curve, obviously. It's not like I love Connor now. I'm just saying that I find him more interesting. And anytime I praise Connor, that is about 3 levels below praising any other character at this point. I'm just trying not to be angry.
Right. And they haven't done enough with him for me to have more judgments. Because, I mean, nothing that has happened with his character is allowing us to have any other feelings but disdain for that character.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Yeah, okay.
I would like to get to a point where we can have him still strained with Angel. Like, that relationship can still always be tumultuous, but again, having him be a functioning part of Angel Investigations, I'd like us to get to that point sooner rather than later.
It probably would benefit him in the long run.
Yeah.
But I do think that he should earn it, which is why he kind of got thrown out, because he's not a part of what they're doing yet.
Right.
But I would like them to actually tell a story about how he does become a part of it rather than him sleeping on concrete.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Anything else from Kathleen's comment?
No, but we ever comment on Deep Down.
Right. So next up is Kathleen, and on Deep Down she says, props to the writers for showing us the effect of a vampire that doesn't get to feed. The hallucinations were a great touch. Showed us that if it came down to it, Angel could be capable of feeding on the people he loves to survive. Love that it was Wes that found Angel. He wants to help the gang, but doesn't want them thinking that he's after forgiveness. Lila and Wes, so wrong yet so right. Fred and Gunn are just adorably right for each other. Connor staying at the hotel with Fred and Gunn didn't see that coming after the end of Season 3. But I guess with Cordy gone and Justine locked up by Wes, he didn't have too many options, did he? Can't believe he managed to fake caring about Angel's whereabouts without Fred and Gunn having a clue for months. Yay for Angel throwing Connor out of the hotel on his return. Should have smacked him in the head too. Big floaty Cordelia head. Did not see that coming. So thank you, Kathleen. I hope they don't end every episode with floating Cordelia head.
Well, we already talked about that. They can't. They just can't.
But
they have. They have to do something.
Right.
What that is, I don't know. I remember and I can't say. So. But
again, the makeup effects. Does it feel to you like Angel's gotten a little bit better budget this season? Both with the monster we had this week, the makeup effects last week, and even some of the props and sets and things?
No. I think they've gotten better at the makeup, but I haven't noticed anything. Because really, they've been at the Hyperion and some nondescript building locations.
No, they had the boat thing and
the boat,
scuba gear, and
sure.
I like all the. Well, I guess the hallucinations were still in the Hyperion, huh?
It doesn't feel radically different to me. Season 5 will feel radically different to me just on look, which I don't. I feel like it's the same show.
Yeah, well, yeah. I didn't mean to insinuate that, but I.
Well, no, I get what you're saying. It does the show. You can tell when there's been a shift in the money for the network or whatever, because things start to look a little bit more polished when the show becomes a little bit more successful. But I don't feel that.
I felt it a little bit so far in season 4.
I felt it moving from season 1 to season 2.
Definitely.
But I have not felt it moving from season 3 to season 4.
Well, I don't know. I think that would be something interesting to keep tabs on, but
nothing else.
I know. I think Kathleen. I like getting Kathleen's more like fresh perspective of the episode, because it's hard for me to remember how I felt first time around. Like the fact that Connor was still with Fred and Gunn. The fact that he was kind of
okay. So the only thing I agree with you. The only thing I remember about Connor is just like blinding hatred. So I haven't gotten there yet, which may be a good thing.
You just kind of vaguely feel bad for him for being homeless.
Yeah, I feel ambivalent toward him. We're not at blinding hatred. Maybe we'll never get there.
I hope not. But again, at the same time, at least having really strong feelings for a character is at least having feelings for a character.
No, I don't think I think you underestimate how much I hated him.
Like, I never want to watch this show ever again because of this character?
Yes, like I'm annoyed at just every time I see your face.
The mere presence.
You're like, I felt like the show came to a grinding halt every time Connor opened his mouth.
Well, hopefully this time around.
Again, this is why I don't like season 4.
Well, okay, but I don't know if feeling ambivalent about a character is much better.
Oh, it's not much better, but it is better.
Well, the point that I was trying to make is like having you hate a character can still make the show entertaining, because there's still an aspect of that of liking to hate something. Because otherwise, if you feel ambivalent about a character, the show could just be boring and you wouldn't have any stakes in
that's just one
in the show.
Character.
I know.
You're talking about The Walking Dead, where I wish the zombies would win.
I mean, maybe.
That it's just I understand what you're saying. I don't think me being ambivalent to Connor is a stunning improvement from me hating him. And I will say that the things that I hate Connor for I remember hating Connor for have not happened.
Mm-hmm.
Which is surprising, since he dropped Angel in a metal coffin. That is not the worst thing that he does in my memory. And that is all I will say.
All right. So you ready to move on to favorite moments and scores?
Sure. Why don't you go first, because I'm struggling with both of these.
Yeah, I mean, the most obvious thing for me for favorite moment was Fred's breakdown to Gunn. Again, I thought that was the most emotional we got to see from the episode. Again, I think Amy Acker's performance is great, and when they get to ask her to do more stuff, I also I like the consequences of members of Angel Investigation being gone and that kind of burden being put on her when she had to do everything. And the way she repeats the "I'm so sick of keeping my chin up," I thought was really effective. And it's interesting, again, seeing this couple that were, even in Kathleen's comment, we're like, oh, they're so adorable together. Well, they get to feel more like an actual couple if they do have these kind of disagreements and arguments and everything else. But then you also kind of pointed out, is this pointing in any kind of direction of what the relationship is actually going? So a lot that you can pull from in that moment, and I liked both performances in that scene.
Okay. What am I going to go with?
It's going to be Lila, I know it.
It's not, actually.
Oh,
that wasn't even my revolving choices.
Well, that's always what I assume.
Well, you're right to assume it because it usually is, but because especially now that Cordelia's not here, so who else do I have to fall back on? No, I'm going to surprise myself with this because I really do like Angel talking about Cordelia being higher being, but I think they ruin it by having Cordelia want to get out. So I think I'm actually going to go with the beginning flashback because I like that it's different and it's creepy and it's weird, but it also gives us a good idea of who Gwen is before we even meet her. And it's the only character I think we've got a Gun flashback, but the only other character besides Gun I think we've gotten flashbacks for is Angel. It's interesting.
Yeah, I think that is interesting, especially to set up a character that we just get in this episode. Yeah,
I just think there's something effective about. Also, it does feel like you said X-Files. My feeling was like an 80s horror movie because there's really creepy music throughout.
Well, again. The reason why I said X-Files is because of the creep factor.
Well, the
sci-fi twist to the creepiness that shows.
And the fact that it is a flashback of someone that we've never seen before. But no, I think I thought that was a evocative opening. So yeah, that's what I'm going to go with.
So scores, I'm ended up going to give this what I gave last week, a 69 out of 100. It never really broke that emotional plane that would give me in the 70s and up, but I thought it was really enjoyable even if there is an overarching line about trying to find the MacGuffin to find Cordelia, but more of it feels like not a case of the week, but I like the heist nature of it. I thought the pacing of the episode worked really well, and I thought Gwen was a actually really interesting character to get introduced to.
Okay. All right, I'm going to give this 64.
Okay.
Out of 100. Because I really don't have too many things to complain about. But I don't have a strong feeling about it. I like Gwen, but I don't know if I like this episode. But I don't dislike it. Actually, the way I feel about this episode is probably how I feel about Connor. Where I feel ambivalent towards it.
Okay.
So, maybe I should go lower, but I guess 64 is fine. Because nothing besides Gunn being oblivious to Fred, which came out of left field for me, seemed to be a problem. Everything was just like, whatever. This is the route you're going in, and I'm fine with it.
I do find that strange that you weren't more on board. I mean, I don't think it's a secret that we dig on superhero stuff. and like
what?
The Flash and everything else. Yeah. What?
Like, we don't go off on tangents about comic books every 5 minutes on this podcast.
X-Men, Batman, you know, the deal.
Yeah.
The dealio.
But I don't think it's if this was, it never would be. But if this was told completely from Gwen's perspective, sure, I would like it more. But she is a big part of this episode, but she's not central enough to it that I feel that strongly about it. Because going back, there was a lot of exposition. The first 10 minutes is a lot of explaining things. I really began to check out by the third scene that somebody was explaining something to Angel.
Yeah, I guess it's just the fact that even though we had a lot of exposition, especially in the scene, the interactions between the characters helped pull me through it, where you seem to be more meh about it. Like, I like, even though Wes is just like, here's a bunch of information, Angel, I love getting to see the two of them interact again finally since the I'm going to kill you from Angel. You know what I mean?
That's true. That is a true fact. But there wasn't enough of that.
Yeah, that's true. All right. And if you'd like to leave us some feedback, you can do so by commenting on the post at theangelrewatch.wordpress.com.
Or you can send an email at angelrewatch@gmail.com.
You can call our voicemail number at 206-203-3276.
Or you can go to Tumblr, which is angelrewatch.tumblr.com, to see all the reviews archived there and the gifts of whatever episode we're watching that week.
We're available on YouTube, iTunes, and Stitcher. While you're there, leave us a review. It really helps promote the show. You can follow me on Twitter at NerdGuyWilliam.
You can follow me on Twitter at Tumblr at The Conformador.
And next time, we'll be reviewing The House Always Wins, where Angel decides to take Gunn and Fred on a road trip to Vegas to visit Lorne.
Gunn finally gets to go to Vegas.